Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Ogee and this is a knitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. It's been a little while. I haven't filmed after I got back from my holiday in Romania because I just didn't feel like it and I didn't have a lot of things to show you, and I decided to take things a little bit easier with the podcast. So yeah, this is why the schedule is a little bit shifted up, and from now on we might only do an episode a month or maybe more depending on the mood. We never know. When the heat of the summer is going to be over, maybe I'll find some more uplifting moments to record again. But yeah, I am in a different room than where I usually film. That is because, well, heat wave here in France, and even though it's early in the morning, it is already quite unbearable. And this is the coolest room in my house, so I'm gonna try and do it here and try to survive. I do have quite a few things to share with you in this episode. I have a couple of pattern release to announce and 2 other finished objects, both of which are lacy, like it's all over lace. It's lace everywhere. And I will also quickly mention a new work in progress I am working on. But yeah, it's like 4 finished objects, 1 work in progress, and yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you are doing well and that wherever you are in the world, you are comfortably seated and are able to move through the summer or winter with a little bit more ease than I am. But yeah, I'm gonna jump right in. I've lost a little bit of touch. I don't know if you can tell that I'm not quite sure what to say or what to do. That's what happens when you don't record for a couple of months. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get over it, get over the initial weirdness and start with the actual podcast. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below, so if you want to skip anything, feel free to jump ahead. I'll also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and patterns for sale on Ravelry. So yeah, let's jump right in. The first thing I want to share with you today is a new pattern that has just been released on Ravelry. So it is a new summery lacy wrap, and it is knit in collaboration with Kettle Yarn Co. So the lovely Linda of Kettle Yarn Company, she contacted me a few months ago asking if I would like to design something in her Bayul base for the summer. So Bayul is a lovely blend of merino, yak and silk, and it's just this really beautifully drapey yarn. Like, it's really soft and it has a beautiful drape, so absolutely lovely for summer. It has that shine because of the silk and that color depth because of the yak. So unfortunately, color wise, we're not so good here in this room, but we're gonna deal with it. The colorway I knit with is Jade, and it's like a really beautiful bright spring green. It's not as yellow as what you see currently on the screen. You can look at the picture of the pattern on Ravelry to get a little bit more of an accurate color. It's not as olivey as this. It's much more of a cold, fresh type of green, and it's the colorway Jade. I don't know if I actually said the name. But yeah, so this is Lauricilve, which is the French name for the laurel forest. The laurel forest is the forest of laurels that can be found mostly in the Madeira Islands, basically all these Portuguese islands by the side of Africa. And it's a really luxurious, beautiful and peculiar landscape. If you can easily find pictures of it online. And yeah, I just thought that it really fitted the color and the beautiful drape and the lace pattern. So it's a rectangular wrap, basically, And you start on this end with the little scalloped edge, and this is the lace motif. It is fairly simple. It's a simpler design than, for example, my lucarne wrap, which is my other lace wrap. So if you're a lace beginner, I would advise this one first, perhaps, because it's a little bit more intuitive, basically, and it's decently sized repeats, so you can get the hang of it quickly enough. And it has a garter border all around, and basically you then alternate sections of garter stitch with the lace. That makes this really fun ripple effect, basically. And the pattern is written so that you can use however much yarn you want. I used 2 skeins of the Bayul base, so it's a little under 800 meter, and it makes this pretty decent sizable wrap. But the pattern has a percentage system, so that if you want to adapt it to a different length, you can easily, just by weighing your yarn throughout the process and in the different sections. One specific thing about this pattern is that the lace is only written, there is no chart for it, because the chart doesn't really make sense. What happens with the lace motif is that it constantly overlaps the previous and the next one. And so this makes it, I personally found, more confusing to chart, because basically the chart would have needed to be the whole width of the wrap, which is really unpractical when you're looking at the A4 typical standard page format. I said A4, but maybe that's the only European format. Anyway, it's too wide to fit on the format that you write patterns in. Because if not, it makes little sense. And if you isolate one repeat, then you need to make a specific one for the first one and for the last one, and it just looks really confusing. And so I chose against writing a chart, so you only have written instructions. Amongst my testers, I had people who weren't used to knit in lace in written instructions, and in the end they got the hang of it, because the pattern is fairly simple and intuitive. And so I think it also makes the design quite simple. So if you're a beginner lace knitter, you might be uncomfortable with charts, so that might also help you, only having written instruction. But yeah, this also makes it easier for you to make it wider, because if I made a chart, well, it would have been confusing for you to adapt it in case you wanted to add more repeats widthwise. But yeah, I think I've said everything. Basically, it's like this really drapey, really nice wrap. I took a couple of like moody pictures of it in Romania, where it was really hot. We went to visit a lovely medieval city in the center of Romania. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. Pattern presentation and then travel agency talk. But yeah, we went with my boyfriend to visit the lovely city of Sibiu, which is fairly known. I mean, as far as Romanian cities can be known, but it's a lovely medieval town with very specific roofs in the house. Basically, almost all the houses in the medieval center have specific ventilation system in the attics, which kind of makes it look like the houses have eyes and they're constantly looking at you like this, which is really funny. But it's a beautiful city, and we've been visiting it and taking a few pictures of Lorisilv in it, and it was really hot that day, but I had the wrap around me as we walked looking for the perfect brick wall. I had it like this, and it was nice. It wasn't unbearably hot, so I would assume that it's a really nice base to have to cover your shoulders in the summer nights. So yes, it works with any sort of drapey, lace-friendly yarn. You can check my testers version who all used different colors and different types of fibers, so you can get an idea of what it looks like in different ways. I'm gonna show you the lace again a little bit closer because I think I didn't do a very good job at it, but yeah, there it is. It's kind of like this geometric tunnel thingy. And you can see basically the center of each type of motif. So the center here, that is very obvious, but also the center of the eyelets are the beginning and end of the chart, so that's what overlaps between one repeat and another. But yay! So as I said, this pattern just got released on Ravelry, and there is a discount code for it if you would like to use it. The discount code will be Lorisilve, the name of the pattern. Team impossible names. And it will give you 20% off the design, and this will run until next Sunday. Do you like the meerkat plushie my mom has? Yeah, this is my parents' room. Yeah, Lorisilve is now on Ravelry. I hope you like it. The testers versions are lovely. I've seen beautiful pink, like dusty pink one, and a white one. This looks amazing in white. It's like this really delicate stole, and yeah, like I said, surprisingly easy to knit for a lace that looks so lacy basically. But yeah, it's a really simple pattern, beginner friendly if you care to use only written instructions. Yeah, I'm going to move on to another design that I released in the beginning of the month. Wind. Like it's 35 degrees and there's hot wind. And basically it's bringing sand and dust from Africa and Spain, and it's really nasty because the house is covered in sandy texture. You don't need to know that, but it's really unpleasant. I released at the beginning of July Hydromel, the Hydromel top, which I showed you. I'm sorry, it's a little bit crinkled. I showed it to you as I was almost done with it. I think I just needed to block it. But yeah, this was published at the beginning of the month, and I wanted to show it to you because I know some of you are not on Instagram, so you might have missed it. By the way, if you are not on Instagram but would like to keep up to date with the pattern releases that I do, you can friend me on Ravelry, and I believe when you do that, that when I release a new pattern, it should appear in your pattern highlights. I think so, because that's, and like the people I'm friends with, I see their patterns, so I think that's how it works. I'm not so sure, but yeah, I know some of you are not on Instagram, which is why I wanted to announce the release of Hydromel as well here. So Hydromel is a summer top. Ta-da! It's a knit bottom up, so you start with this lace. I warned you, it's all over lace, and it's not over. You start with this really open lace, kind of like a net effect. You can make it longer or shorter as you want. Then you knit up, you separate back and front, and at the back you're going to work short rows to sort of elevate the back and shape the shoulder, and at the front you have a v-neck shaping, as you can see. Then you can pick up for the color, and you have two neckline options. Mine, as you can see, is fairly wide because I don't like very open neckline. She says wearing something that is obviously very revealing, but usually I tend to prefer closer neckline. So this one, as you can see, is like a twisted rib neckline with a center decrease in the middle of the V, of the V-neck. This one is fairly wide, and you can make one that is basically half that, so much smaller, to keep it more open if you prefer that. Both options are written in the pattern. Then you pick up for the sleeves and you knit them for however long you want. Mine basically reach me in the middle of my upper arm. forearm, upper arm. Which, like, this is your all arm, this is the forearm, and this is the upper arm. So where is the arm? Because if it's before and above, I don't understand how it works. It makes little sense in French as well, because this is arm in French and this is forearm before the arm. So like, what is the whole thing? It's just complicated morphology terms. But yes, and then you finish the sleeve with a little twisted ring cuff as well. So yeah, I really like this top. It's really light and airy. It's knit in fingering weight, but it has a very loose gauge. It's 21 stitches per 10 centimeters. So if you don't like this, or if your yarn cannot accommodate such a loose gauge, I would recommend choosing a sport weight or a DK even. In general, just make sure that you have the yarn for the gauge rather than the actual weight that the pattern says, because you might not like how it looks with the gauge that the designer used. So yeah, just a little warning. Mine is knit with Slavica yarns, which is beautiful superwash merino dyed in Poland from Polish dyer, and this is the honeydew colorway, which is this beautiful caramelly color, and I really like it. It has a beautiful drape, it's soft and light and just really perfect for this top. Yarn for suggestions for it, I have written quite a few things on it on the Ravelry page and in the pattern, because you really want to prioritize something that's drapey, mostly because of the sleeves, because if not, the sleeves tend to not drape nicely on your shoulder. So that is because it's a drop shoulder, but it doesn't have a lot of ease. It's not a boxy fit per se. And so if your yarn is a bit stiff, the sleeves, if you make them too short, are not gonna go nicely over your shoulder. You can accommodate that by making short rows. One of my testers did that and it worked just fine. But yeah, if you do want to use cotton, maybe be careful around the sleeves and make sure that it's not splitty, because for this lace, since it's so open, you really want to have something that doesn't split. It's not split friendly. Maybe it's split friendly, but it's not split friendly. I don't want to know what you do with your knitting, but yeah. Superwash merino works just fine. Linen is a great idea. One of my testers made a beautiful version out of the Rerum Natura Antigone's yarn, which is their linen thread, so I would assume any similar linen works. It's a sport weight linen and it just works perfectly for this pattern. So if you want to make it in a summer friendly yarn, linen is a good thing because it definitely has the drape required for it. But yeah, really easy to adapt as well. Like I said, you can make the lace shorter or longer. You can adapt the body length. People struggle often with bottom up sweaters to adapt the length. The thing is, you just need to picture it on another sweater, or to know basically the measurement that you need once you have reached the underarm. And once you know that, you can knit any bottom sweater as long as the pattern tells you how deep this is, which mine does, because basically you're gonna know how many centimeter or inches you have from the shoulder down to the armhole. This depends on the pattern fit, and if the pattern tells you that, then you just need to know what you personally need or prefer from the armhole down, and you just have to knit until you reach that point, accommodating for the blocking of your yarn as well. But yeah, it is easy to adapt should you wish as well to make some shaping here. You can make it with however much ease you want. Mine has a little bit of positive ease. I saw a couple of my testers who made it a little bit more fitting and it looked quite nice as well. But yeah, Hydromel, which is French for mead. And thank you so much for everyone who mentioned that you can actually still find mead. Mead, I already forgot how you say it. But yeah, the honey alcohol. And yeah, I'm pretty sure if I go to like a big town, I can find some in like trendy artisan old-fashioned shops. It's probably quite in fashion, like a lot of old school type of food and stuff. But yeah, I just thought it really fitted the honeydew colorway. And yeah, so this is on Ravelry. This was released at the beginning of the month, and it's gonna be the last of my summer tops for this season. Yes, that's it. Now, moving on from my own patterns to other people's patterns. Sorry, I'm trying to get a bit more comfortable because my back isn't happy with me sitting like this for too long. But I have finished 2 summer tops. The first one that I'm going to talk about, I'm wearing it currently, and I finished it just recently, so it's just off the blocking station. Again, rearranging myself, and it's the Ogee tank by Sari Nordlund, and it's the pattern that was published in the latest Pompom magazine, and you probably remember it because I've talked about it in such great amazed details. And this beautiful twisted cable and lace tank top. And so I finished it a couple of days ago, and you can still see that, like where I blocked it, because I blocked it quite aggressively so I would get nice ease and the lace would open. You can still see, look, this needs to get a little bit smoother, but yeah, I really wanted to wear it to show you how it fits. And I really liked knitting on it. It was really fun. Basically, you start from the bottom up, you knit the twisted panel, which, like I told you last time, is so much simpler than what it looks because it's only 1x1 cable, and yeah, once you get into it, it's really nice to do. And then you start that lace motif, which you repeat for however long you want. I knit mine a little bit longer than what the pattern recommends. Hope you like that boob shot. Once you reach the armhole, you separate front and back, and basically the top is reversible. So this is like the deeper neckline, which makes this V, and this is actually referred in the pattern as the back, and this is the high one, and this is referred in the pattern as the front. You start with the back, which I'm currently wearing at the front, and yeah, you basically separate from the armhole, separate here at the center of the V, and knit the 2 portions. Then you place some stitches on hold here. You go back to the front, which I'm wearing at the back. You knit for a little bit, then you separate at the center, and you do the same. You continue all the way up, and then you knit an I-cord strap, a rather thick I-cord strap, that you then Kitchener stitch to the stitches that you put on hold here. So it's a really fun and intuitive construction. I really liked it. I really liked the I-cord detail all over here that then merges into the strap here. And yeah, I would say that I was a little bit confused at first with the instructions for this portion, because basically you need to decrease and keep in pattern at the same time, and the pattern tells you how to decrease depending on how many stitches you have left of the repeat. So the pattern will tell you, okay, so if you have X amount of stitches left of the repeat, do this, basically, so that it still sort of look like it's in pattern before and after you decrease, because you decrease here and here. So you have 2 things to take into account. And yeah, I was a little bit confused at first until I finally understood how it works. The thing I wasn't sure about is if I should, mostly my problem was to know if I should take into account the stitches that I'm going to decrease into the number of stitches left of the chart. The answer to that is yes. Then I understood. But yeah, I'm sure I ended up doing some things wrong all over, like some places are over the way, but it still looks good. I mean, it doesn't look like anything is weird. So I really like it and I am happy with the result. I kind of hoped that it had a little bit more ease than that, but that's my fault. I thought I would get a bigger gauge than what I ended up having. So if you don't remember my rant from the previous time I mentioned this stuff, I basically knit the size 2, hoping that my gauge would be bigger, because it usually is, so that I could get more ease than the actual finished bust size. I sort of did. I measured it and my bust size for the pattern is 89 centimeter instead of 86. But it's okay. It's not form-fitting, which is what I really wanted to avoid, because I don't think that's not something I would have liked to wear. And I really, really like it. Even if it doesn't have as much ease as I imagined it to have, I think it looks really nice and I'm really happy with how the top fits. This is what I was concerned about. You see, this is the lower neckline, and even though, I mean, it's the summer, so you know, it's the summer, it's hot, I'm wearing a deep V, you know, that's how it is. But it fits well, like it's not too big, it's not too small, the armhole depth is really good, and yeah, I really, really like it. It's a beautiful, beautiful design, and yeah, I can't wait to play around with wearing it either side and seeing how it works. Great strap placement. I don't know. I understand, like, that's often a matter of luck more than anything, but as you can see, like, you can't see my bra, like it's right on top of it, which is good. But yeah, I am really happy with it. The yarn that I used again is Maison Corlaine in their arts and crafts base, which is 80% superwash BFL and 20% bamboo, which makes this really beautiful shiny color. And it's in the Hortense colorway, which is this nice grey blue thing. And I'm just gonna show you a little bit the stitch pattern more, because it's absolutely stunning. Oh, I like it. I like it so much. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. And yeah, I can't wait to wear it some more. I can't really wear it now because it's really, really too hot. But as soon as it will stop being 40 degrees, which should be something like 110 Fahrenheit, I don't know. Maybe I get to wear it without dying like I am currently doing. But yeah, this is my first finished object for this episode, and then besides my own pattern. Second one is another summer top with lace. I have made Tegna, finally. I decided that this would be my holiday project, so I took it with me to Romania. So this is Tegna by Caitlin and Hunter. You know it, everyone knit it. It's been on my queue for a long time, and I had the yarn as well for a long time. This is yarn from a French dyer called Vilaine, which is a funny name because laine is how we say yarn in French, and so her brand name is V in parenthesis laine, and vilaine in itself, like villain. But in French it's sort of naughty. It's more naughty than villain. You wouldn't say that the evil guy of film is the villain. You wouldn't say vilain in French. It's sort of a childish way of saying evil or naughty. So it's kind of a funny pun for her dyeing brand. But yeah, this is a simple sock base, so superwash merino nylon, and this color is beautiful. It's the colorway A Pocket Full of Potpourri, I believe, and it's like this really beautiful corally pink. And this is the lace of the Tegna, which you know. I really liked knitting it. I really appreciated the lace, and I really liked the neckline. The neckline is a rolled simple stocking neckline, and I really like that. I've knitted it on 3mm needle, and so I got a tighter gauge. The pattern gauge is 22 stitches, and I wanted it to be tighter, so what I ended up getting was 24. And that's why I'm getting out of breath. And so that's why I knitted size M, which gives me which would have given me too much ease at the pattern gauge, but that way it's fine, and I have the recommended ease with a tighter gauge. So this, I let myself do it because of how straightforward the pattern is, and it worked out really well, and you can see how it fits. I've posted some picture on Ravelry and Instagram. But yeah, really liked it. Beautiful lace. I'm really happy I finally have it. I think I'm going to really appreciate it in the autumn, wearing it over dresses or high-waisted pants. Yeah, Tegna by Caitlin Hunter, finally done. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because everyone knows it and everyone knitted it, so you're probably really tired of seeing it. But I did really like it, and it's a beautiful pattern that really deserves the praise and popularity it has. It's really cool. And yeah, I think that's it for my parade of lace tops and lace wraps and things. And I'm just going to show you one work in progress that I started. I finished a bunch of things all at once, so I was really happy to cast on new things. And amongst those things is a test knit. So I had this yarn for a while now, which is a natural yarn Tweedy base. It's a base that Mothy and the Squid uses, and she also sells basically the bare undyed one. And it's like a nice, lovely tweedy yarn, and I absolutely love tweed yarns. And I got a sweater quantity of it, and my idea was to make a boxy. I do want to make a boxy at some point, but it wasn't right. I don't think the boxy would look well, that I would get a lot of wear of the boxy in a light color than that. So I think I'm gonna look for a nice navy blue perhaps, or yeah, either navy blue or burgundy, maybe something a little bit more jewel deep color than this. But this needed to be a sweater, and then I saw that Sari Nordlund, which is the designer of the top that I'm wearing, she has put up a test knit call for her Sora pullover, which just fitted perfectly. It's an oversized as well a sweater, but it's not a boxy shape, it's a more loose balloony type of shape with big sleeves and brioche details on in contrast color on the collar, cuffs and hem, which are really beautiful. And so I decided that this was just great, and so I applied for the test knit, and I was really lucky to be chosen, and this is going to be my contrast color for it. So this is leftover from Tolosa, my first garment pattern. This is Maison Corlaine Belle Epoque base, so simple superwash merino and silk, not necessarily simple, but superwash merino silk in the Sibyl colorway, which is this beautiful brick red. And I've been hesitating because I have leftover from this top as well, and this would have looked amazing, but I don't think I have enough of this one, and I just like, this is one of my favorite colors ever, so I think this would look nice. And so I started knitting it's not a secret test knit, so I can show it with you. You can see the picture of said sweater. It's the Sora sweater on Sari's Instagram if you want to have a look. But yeah, I have started with the raglan, and I have finished it. I just separated for the body and sleeves, and so yeah, simple, easy, nice raglan so far. Really cool. Like the yarn is absolutely beautiful. I am going to start alternating now that I'm on the body, and yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it because so far it's just a raglan, a stockinette raglan. I have to say that the instructions for the raglan are really clear. There's a cheat sheet if you want to follow it, but it's like the markers are placed in a clever way, and basically the increases of the raglan look really nice. And yeah, I'm knitting on it. I'm knitting size 2, which should give a finished bust measurement of 102 centimeter, which should give me almost 20 centimeter ease. I'm on gauge, I think. I was on gauge because I swatched, and I need to check again because I don't know if this is big enough. But I'm gonna knit for a little bit on the body because I just separated, and then I'm gonna try it on, and hopefully everything is good. But yeah, I'm not sure when Sari plans to release the pattern. The test will go until the end of September. But yeah, I will keep showing it to you and show you once it's done and once the pattern is released, because it's a beautiful pattern, it's a beautiful design, and the pattern is really pleasant and mindless to knit. I just needed something after this and I am currently working on colorwork mittens as a design. I needed something a little bit more simple to knit, and so mostly stockinette sweater with really nice brioche details is perfect for me. So yeah, it will actually be my first time making a patterned brioche, because the details on the cuff, collar and hem are a patterned brioche, so with increases and decreases, and I actually never done that. I've done a little bit of simple brioche. Well, I have done the Roture sweater by Fibertales, which has increases, but you know, it's just increases. But it will be my first time making brioche drawings, basically, and I'm really excited to see how it works, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it as a little final touch to this otherwise simple pullover. But yes, I think that's it. I'm a little out of breath. Wow, I've only been recording for like 40 minutes, so I did speak really fast. I hope I didn't forget anything, but yeah, I believe that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're having a lovely time for the summer/winter break, and yeah, I will see you, I think, at the end of August. I think that's when I will record again, hopefully in a more cool weather. We do have a swimming pool there. We just we bought a little off the ground swimming pool, but it's quite big. Like, we didn't expect it to be so big, and when we installed it with my father, we were like, okay, that's actually really big. But it's really nice to have for the summer because it's really hot. But yeah, enjoying the summer, sort of dealing with it more than that, enjoying. But yeah, I will see you again in a month or so, I think, and in the meantime, have a lovely day, night, week, month, and happy knitting. Bye!